Kathryn Horsley, author of the Soulless Series. And I hope if you're watching this today, that means that you loved it and you just had to know more. But if not, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. I think it's an amazing series. But then again, I'm a little bit biased because I'm the author. So today's video is going to be about who I am and what kind of got me started and things like that. There are going to be separate videos for the books themselves and one that goes over the entire series, sort of a summary. There are 5 books in the series, and I'm going to do my best to keep those videos short and also to not give away any spoilers. That's the goal. But today's video, like I said, is all about me, so we'll just jump right into that. I do live in Ohio. I've lived here my whole life and I love it. If you notice I have an accent, it's because I live at the very bottom of Ohio, which means there's lots of trees, lots of country folk, and 0 scorpions, so it's pretty awesome. My husband also grew up here. He's always lived in Ohio as well. And our children have always lived in Ohio. We do have sort of a yours, mine, and ours thing happening. So we have 4 girls total. And some are teens and some are toddlers, and lots of glitter and drama and lots of chaos, but it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I also work full-time. So I work at a cancer center. I'm a radiation therapist, and working at a cancer center, it can be heartbreaking and it can be rewarding. There are definitely some days that are sad. And then there are other days where, you know, people come in for follow-up and their testing is clear, or the day they get to ring the bell. Those are very special moments and they can be very heartwarming. And you know, the day-to-day job, it can be very inspiring to be there for someone who just needs someone. You know, people need someone to listen and to care and to offer hope, and it's very rewarding to be that someone, the person that was there when someone needed them to be. That's a really amazing job to have. But it is full-time, so between 4 children and full-time and a husband and rambunctious corgis, I have very narrow window of writing time. I used to love to run, but obviously I haven't been running in a while. But you know, I have to squeeze out something, and running got the boot so that I could keep writing. But yeah, I love writing. And I wish I had, people ask me like, what inspired you to start writing, or how'd you come up with your story? And I wish I had a big, oh, I had this amazing dream. It was just so great. I had to write it. I just couldn't not write it down. It was amazing. Yeah, I didn't have that dream. Basically, I have always been a storyteller. I've always enjoyed telling people stories and making up stories. You know, not lying, that's different. That's different. No, just coming up with these stories to share with people. And so it seems like a natural progression that eventually one day I would choose to write it down. And, you know, one day I remember it, I was sitting on my porch swing and my girls were swimming, and I was talking to myself. I do that a lot. I tell stories out loud. I talk to myself out loud. Anybody who knows me, you know, they know I talk to myself quite a bit. I often get asked, are you talking to me or yourself? And about 80% of the time I'm just talking to myself. But I digress. So I was sitting on my swing and I was talking to myself, telling myself a story, and I said this opening paragraph, and I thought, wow, I really like that. I should write that down. So I got my laptop and I came back outside and I wrote it down. And that paragraph is the very first paragraph in the very first novel. It's still there. That's what I wrote on my swing, and I still love it. Yeah, so I don't have a big, huge, grand story. And actually, as much as I was into storytelling all throughout my life, I wasn't much of a reader until toward the end of my high school career. I actually thought, oh, I should read the classics. As an adult, that should be something I have a knowledge base for. So, and you should. So I started reading the classics, and I read them over, several years. I made myself read some, and I enjoyed them, but I still took my time reading them, and I got through several until I came across Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. That was the first book that I read and couldn't put down. I read it. It's not a short book, and I read it in, I want to say 3 days. But I couldn't put it down. And, it's almost like your first love. You'll never forget the first time you were engulfed by a book like that. And, it still gives me chills to think about it. I love that book. And the A&E version movie. I don't like the Keira Knightley version, but that's its own tangent. But no, I loved Pride and Prejudice, and I read plenty of other Jane Austen books. I've read most of them, if not all of them, and they're all great. They're all great, but man, Pride and Prejudice, that was a clincher for me. It changed the way I thought about books completely. So that is definitely my favorite book. It's still my favorite, and probably will never be replaced, because you just can't, with the feeling, you just can't replace that feeling of the first time. So it will probably always be my favorite book. Also, though, while reading the classics, I came across my least favorite book ever. And it's pretty funny, because one of my friends actually had recommended it to me because it's her favorite. It's Jane Eyre. I cannot express how much I did not enjoy that book. Other people can read it. Like I said, my friend loved it, so to each their own. Some people will really enjoy it. It was not for me. It was definitely not my cup of tea. Some other little things about me, I did enjoy the Twilight books, and I do own them, and I own the movies. My books are not like Twilight, not at all. They're not geared for teens, and they are written in the first-person perspective of the vampire instead of the human. They're not the same, but I mean, as much as people want to make fun of glittery vampires, she's a good storyteller. It was very entertaining, and I enjoyed it. So it is what it is. I'm not ashamed. I'm Team Edward. obviously Team Edward. But no, I really liked her books. I don't actually get a lot of reading done. I noticed that, not only does it take away from the time that I could be writing, because I do have very limited time to write, but I also noticed that when I'm really reading a lot, I tend to mimic the type of tone and style in my own writing. And I don't like to do that. I don't like to take the style from someone else and sort of muddle it in with mine. That's not a good thing to do. So I don't read while I'm writing. So currently I'm not reading a whole lot, because I'm really trying to focus on my own novels currently. But it is what it is. So let's see, what else? One of my girls had written down some key points that she thought would be interesting for people to know. So I'm trying to sort of look at those and try to stay on track here. Well, I think I covered it. But that's a little bit about me. I hope you got to know me a little bit more. And if you have any questions, or you think of something that you want to know, feel free to click on the link for the Facebook page. It's on this website, and it'll take you right to the official page. and feel free to send me a message on there or post it right on the wall, and I will make sure I include it in the next video. You know, anything you want to know about me, basically, is fair game. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy the novels, and keep watching for new videos and new book releases. And until then, I'll see you later.